Well, hi, this is Forecast Year here reporting in. I want to talk to you about the economic outlook that's going to be likely to happen in the next 1 to 3 years. As you know, we have a midterm election here, 2014. Reporting in here today is Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2014. That's just after Labor Day weekend, and we're headed into the fall, ending a nice summer. I think we've all enjoyed the summer break. For a lot of people, it's been a kind of a reduced summer or a modified summer, I know. This has not been an easy economy. That being said, it looks like it's about to get dramatically tougher for most people. There are some opportunities that we'll talk about in a follow-on video about economic opportunities and bright spots in the economy and technological revolutions that are happening, but for the most part, there are some real challenges happening. Well, why is this happening, and why is it likely to occur, and why is it likely to get much significantly more challenging, especially next year and the year after and after that? A couple of things that are going on. There is an economic, there's talk that basically the economic recovery hasn't really happened at all. It's been the Federal Reserve basically just printing cash rather than, so it's been an inflationary recovery or a monetized fake recovery. There's also a thing called the business cycle, usually in 4 phases. And there's multiple kinds of business cycles that can occur. There can be ones that are about 4 years long. It's called the Kitchen cycle, and usually another one called 7 to 10 years. I've been most familiar in my earlier years with a 4-year economic cycle, and I think in America that also revolves around our election period for the presidency. So it's highly politicized process. They often talk about how the stock market usually does well during an election year, and that's often been true, although not always. We had a tough year in 2008, and that was a presidential election year. So that rule doesn't always hold fast and true. But historically, back in the old days, it used to. That was a 4-year economic cycle. The regular fixed investment cycle of 7 to 11 years. So that'd be, I used to call that a 10-year economic cycle, kind of decade-wise, but it could be 7 years or maybe 8. That'd be 2 presidential election terms, if you want to look at it that way. Some people also talk about the sunspots impacting agricultural yield, and that a sunspot, the cycle of the sun is about 22 years long, roughly. It's about, and half of that would be 11 years. So that fits into this decade-long cycle that you might see, a decade-wise type business cycle. Economics. There's the Kunzits and the Kundrof. Well, I don't know how to say this name properly. It's the K wave is what they call it, and that's a very important one to follow. It's based on technologies. That's I think the K wave cycle is a very important one to look at, and we're kind of toward the tail end of the computer part of the technology boom. So we'll see what comes after that. But this would be 1970 plus 45 to 60 years. That's about right now. Think about the computer boom when they started writing code. The time zero in software is the year 1970, January 1st, on the Unix systems. So that's when the kind of the IT tech wave started. If you think about it. So if you think about it, we're then seeing a slowdown of 2 cycles. The K wave, depending on which technological wave you want to look at, but I believe the IT boom is still going pretty strong, but it's maturing and kind of slowing down in a variety of ways. And there's also this 7-year boom. It's been about 7 years since 2008. 2008 plus 7 would be 2015. And if you want to see if the boom is longer, 2009 or 10 years, it'd be 2016, 17. I think 2015 and 2017 are going to be some very tough years because of these trends. We're going through these cycles, the tail end, the down part of the jugular wave, and also possibly the K wave, and maybe the Kitchen cycle, depending on how you want to look at it. All right, so definitely read up on these guys and these multiple kinds of waves and business waves. But a lot of people are talking about this. And from the Economic Collapse blog, talking about this, same spot on, 2015 to 2020. But I especially think it's going to be 2015 and 2017. Those won't be election years, and a lot tougher things happen and shenanigans happen in the off years. So I think we're going to be starting to see some real serious problems right after the election in 2014. I don't think they can, the powers that can be, like the Federal Reserve or whatnot, can do too many big tricks during between now and the election, which is early November, but that's right around the corner. But we're going to see some hard slog between now and then. And Mike Snyder's done a good job covering this in the Economic Collapse blog. What else? George Soros, a very, very, very smart person. He's kind of like a hedge fund manager and commodities type investor. He manages a ton of money. He's bet a $2 million short position on the stock market. Basically, he's short the market. Basically, he believes it's going to go down and down dramatically. His position is shorting it $2 billion. An incredible amount of money to put in a short position. So he believes pretty strongly. This is the guy that bet against England and the English currency. That's how he made his money, his big scoop. He quickly predicted that they would have a problem in Britain. He was right. This guy is a very smart person regarding the financial world and what's going to happen. And so he's a pretty smart cookie. It doesn't mean it's for sure, but it's looking tenuous. Stocks are at an all-time high now historically too. If you look at where they are, how shot up they are as compared to historicals, they're at a historical very, very high position. It's like looking at the stock market for 1929. If you think about it, and what happened in 1929. If you want to get more resources, check out our website, forecastyear.com. Please follow us on Twitter. We've got some important pieces of information there you need to check out. And yeah, so anyhow, this is basically, I would say, a combination of factors. Also factor in peak oil. If you do some research on peak oil and the situation there, we're about to go through probably the plunge, I believe, in the next 5 years on peak oil. Right now, we've been involved in we've been involved in pumping oil like crazy in a trend called fracking. And fracking is really overproduction. When the prices of oil and gas and energy shoots up, if it doubles overnight, it goes high, which I believe that it will go up significantly, we're probably going to see major run-ups in oil in the near-term future, basically, and that's going to impact a lot of business models that are simply just going to fail. So that's going to be not easy to deal with. And here's one peak oil plot. There's different ones depending on who you want to believe and whatnot. But this is one that I believe is probably pretty accurate. That we're going to start to see major problems around 2012. We start seeing problems, real problems then, and through 2020, and then just a scary situation. Okay, so this is another reason why we're going to be looking at some game changer type situations. Also, we got the war, World War III. Looks like it's starting. Hate to say it, we're not doing enough to stop it. Between the situation in the Middle East, situation in East Europe, and also in Asia, along the APAC rim, South China Sea, what's going on there. Those look like very unstable situations, and they're getting more and more tenuous and dangerous, and they're not moving toward peace. So you think you lump all those things together, it's a recipe for major problems. So hold on to your hat and get your prepping done, but also make sure your skills are in a good place going forward so that your career can be in a safe place. Think strongly about Mr. Soros and research. Other people are starting to make this short position too. It's probably going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once too many people are shorting the market, it's going to plunge and go down. I mean, that's all there is to it. So this could end up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. But you research these wave theories and Kitchen, Jugular, especially this one 7-year and this 4-year thing, but also at some level the K wave. We're getting kind of toward the end of some technological cycles. you put all that together with the peak oil situation and the geopolitical situation, it's going to be a tough thing. So I'd watch out for 2015 and 2017, especially being off years from elections, for some real zinger events to occur economically. All right, stay strong, and Forecast here signing off. Thanks for watching. Please check out our website and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks so much.